coming this morning. We're very excited to be here. And as you well know, we have spent a lot of time asking questions. How do you manage your people data today? And more importantly, what do you expect in the future? So today, we're excited to be able to bring that to you in a demonstration and an overview of our solution. And we're excited to show you that because it begins to address the question, the most important question of why Ultimate Software? Why would you partner with an organization like ours? And to get started, I've got a few slides for you, and then we'll dig into, in great detail, the product. We had Tina and Kathy here. Again, you met them last night, but they're here today to spend 3 hours really digging deep and showing you, based on the expectations, what you've told us, what that looks like in our platform. We take a look every year, we do a survey, and we ask customers why they're looking to make a change in their human capital management solution. These are not new. You would expect to find these in any survey asking those tough questions. But you've given us examples of where you fit within this framework. One example being multiple systems. What does that translate into? That translates into a lot of passwords to log into your systems. It means putting data in one location and accessing it in another, but oftentimes that data doesn't move across the platform. So those are some of the challenges that you've shared with us. And of course, I could share a number of examples that you've given around poor reporting, one truth of the data. It's very tough to get to. That's one of your expectations. What you might not expect, the top of the chart, normal, you'd see that. Why would someone choose Ultimate? Those are the things that most of our customers are looking for. But the one in the middle here, Ultimate Software's culture. Now that's not something you can demonstrate. That's something that you get to know based on knowing who we are. And what we'd like to do beyond this point in your evaluation is to invite you down to Weston, Florida, to our corporate location to meet our CEO, other members of his team, as well as the teams that will support you in our partnership. We think there's no better way to experience that than to come down and meet us in Weston. So more importantly, why are we different? What makes us different from all of the others that you have an opportunity to choose from? To frame the conversation over the next several minutes, we're going to talk about 3 areas. One being the culture, which we already began to touch on, which you'll begin to experience later throughout the day, as well as product. And we'll begin to talk briefly about our service. Again, you'll see that when you come visit us in Weston. Those are impressive numbers, and we'll talk about what that means to you, because more importantly today is about you, not the numbers on the page. So let's talk for a moment about culture, and I should tell you that there are 3 slides throughout the presentation that look like this. This is not us patting ourselves on the back, but it's an opportunity to look at this information online, to go out and do some research. A lot of this will, of course, mean things to some of you, but I will point out that as you know, millennials are tough to manage. And a millennial today is defined, of course, as anyone from 18 to 35 years old. They are now the largest demographic within the workforce today. There's 4 groups that are in the workforce today. That is the largest one. They're very tough to manage. So the fact that we are engaging those employees is something to be proud of. But what does it really matter to you? And that's what this really comes down to, is the fact that these employees in an engaged workforce, they stick around. So for example, if you were to call the cable operator, which you probably don't like doing that, but if you were to call the cable operator, if you got someone that was not happy in their job, chances are they might not have the right information. First and foremost, they'd probably have a bad attitude, but they probably wouldn't have access to the right information to be able to answer your questions. So an engaged workforce, a happy workforce, means low turnover, and it means prompt service. So when you call our office, and let's face it, you probably don't want to call. You want the product to do exactly what we said it was going to do in the sales process. However, if you were to call, you want the right answers. The people that pick up that phone are CPPs, SPHRs, and former practitioners themselves, so that the answers are there and they've been through this before. Let's talk about our product, and I've got an illustration here in the next slide which will really frame our discussion today. Now, let's talk about what HCM gets you. And first and foremost, it gets you one password. We talked about early on the fact that you've got 5 or 6 passwords that you use to log into those systems. What a unified human capital management solution does is first, it gives you one password. So the ability to access your data through one password across all of your systems. And for today's meeting, we're really going to focus on the left. These, based on your requirements, this is really where you need our help and support around your human resources, benefits, and payroll, which is really our core platform. In addition to the fact that you're looking for a global solution. So what are you doing today? You're picking up the phone and you're calling China or India. You're calling Germany. You're calling any number of 10 to 12 other locations, potentially waking them up, asking them a question, asking them for basic information about the number of employees they have, their demographics, any work contract that they might have in place. And why are you doing that, bless you? Is that you're being acquired now by a Japanese parent who, calling from Japan, wants to know some basic information to complete the rest of this transaction. So it puts you in an interesting situation to not be able to access that data. So part of what you'll see today is the ability to access that global data. Let's face it, technology alone is not going to satisfy your partnership requirements. If we go back to that slide, you may recall that 62% of those looking to replace their current solution are actually dissatisfied with the customer support level that they have today. We're extremely excited about the service levels that we offer. Some of these, and I will spend a moment here, we are ranked #1 for the last 2 years running on the G2 Crowd portal, which is, if you've been there, it essentially allows you the ability as a practitioner, as a user of UltiPro, as a user of any number of our competitors, to rank us, and then to, based on those rankings, get pushed up or down in that ranking. And we're very happy to say that for the last 2 years, we've been ranked highest in overall customer satisfaction and social presence. You've also told us that you need a partner that's committed to your success. You've shared some stories of your current partnership, and they've fallen down in their support of you over the last 5 years. This is actually something where we're very happy to say that 20% of our annual revenue, so this year it'll be a little over $100 million, will be invested into our products and services. And of course, over time, that number continues to grow. Our solution's been in place for 25 years, and that money continues to go into that unified solution that we've developed. Now, if you look at it in terms of a number of employees, resources that are aligned with the product as well as the service, 83%. We're 2,600 employees, so that's over 2,000 employees that are dedicated to supporting our products and services and our partners. But don't take my word. This is a quote from one of our current customers. They're also a former Ceridian client, the company that you're currently with today. They talk about the partnership that's in place with Ultimate Software. We don't refer to our customers as customers. We refer to them as partners. We're investing a lot of time and effort into this process. You're evaluating us as a potential partner. When you come on board with us, beyond the activation point, which is a fixed fee activation, once you've aligned your requirements, what we do is we quote a price. That price stays. How many of you have been involved in a project where the amount of money that you invest in the implementation and getting that up and running continues to grow and grow, and the timeline continues to get pushed out? You read stories about it all the time if it hasn't happened to you. Our training is always free and it's unlimited. And let me tell you just a brief story about what that means. It's actually $18 million in 2008 dollars, and why I say that is in 2008, when the retention numbers started to move down, customer satisfaction, we were looking at that problem. The challenge was, in 2008, the market fell apart. People were struggling to find ways to cut costs. Well, they began to cut training. So they began to stop investing in training for their people. Well, what we did is we removed the fee for that training, and we committed to free and unlimited training for all of our customers and partners. And the reason that is when you invest in your people, when you invest in training them, they continue to spend time and devote to those systems and the technology that support your employees. So that was very important, and it was a hit to the bottom line, but it was the right thing to do. So what's the result of all of this? These are some of our customers that we're proud to put up on the screen today. Over 2,800 customers, and the retention rates are actually for your segment of customers, so anyone over 1,500 employees, we call that an enterprise customer or a large market customer. It's actually 98%. It's not 95 as indicated on the screen. For your segment, it's 98.5%. So what that means, how did we lose the other 1.5%? Well, usually they're acquired by another company that had a system of record and their data moved into that, or maybe we did something wrong. The fact that we lost a customer, we continue to grow and evolve and develop our support systems. Some of the customers that have left your current partner, these are some of them. I've given you some of their names and numbers for you to reach out and contact them. They're always happy to speak to you. One example being Blythe. This is a company very much like yours where more of their employees are outside the U.S. than are inside the U.S. So they'll be able to share some of their stories of how they've worked with us in the past. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kathy, who's going to lead us through the first part of our solution overview. And if there are no further questions, I'll turn it over to Kathy.